Back in the 1950s and 60s, it wasn't unusual for F1 drivers to have had rather less exciting jobs before they were famous. Jack Brabham worked in a garage, Alan Jones found employment in Selfridges, and Tony Brooks was not known as the racing dentist for nothing. But nowadays, drivers wanting to make it in Formula One often start racing in karts pretty much as soon as they can walk, and have time for little else until they eventually retire and become TV pundits, or YouTubers, or maybe even organic farmers. But you may be surprised to know that a few of the more recent drivers on the grid actually had normal jobs before they made it in Formula One. Let's take a look at some of the 9-to-5 jobs of F1 drivers. Like all Finnish males aged 18, Kimi Raikkonen and Valtteri Bottas undertook 12 months conscription in the army. Unlike most Finnish males, Raikkonen used his leave to race in as many Formula Renault UK rounds as possible. He won the championship in 2000 while simultaneously holding the rank of corporal, and his success acted as a springboard into F1 the following year, despite only having 23 car races to his name. Raikkonen had also trained to be a mechanic after leaving school at 16, as he was concerned that it could be his only way of staying involved in motorsport. Similarly, Valtteri Bottas worked as a mechanic after leaving school, gaining skills that would prove useful all the way up the single-seater ladder. He too held the position of corporal during his time in the Finnish army and was voted top soldier by his group. When struggling to pull together a budget in 2008, Kevin Magnussen worked for several months as a welder in a factory in order to have something to fall back on if his racing dream fell apart, although he was quite vocal about the fact that he didn't enjoy the experience.
What a load of bullshit.
His fortunes changed when he found a sponsor to back a season of Formula Renault, and he then became a member of the McLaren Young Drivers programme for 2010. Magnussen has since said that he feels that working a conventional job in a factory to earn money has given him a greater appreciation of being in F1 than if his journey to the grid had been smoother. Romain Grosjean has dabbled in a couple of different careers beside that of racing driver over the years. He actually worked in a high-level private bank in Geneva, both before making his F1 debut in 2009 and again in 2010 and 2011 after being dropped by Renault. He worked part-time as a portfolio manager assistant, which he felt kept him in touch with the real world. But Grosjean initially attempted to enrol in a cookery school after losing a seat at Renault, but he was told he was too old. Although he did eventually release a cookbook with his wife in 2017 called Cuisine and Confidences. Before Timo Glock committed himself fully to racing and becoming an F1 meme,
Is that Glock going slowly? It is, it's Glock! Oh my goodness me!
he completed an apprenticeship at his parents' scaffolding company, becoming a trained scaffolding engineer. The company dealt with complicated buildings such as churches and industrial plants, and Glock has since said that if his racing career had not worked out, he would still be in the scaffolding business, an industry which he claims is far more dangerous than competing in Formula One. As a 16-year-old, Kamui Kobayashi worked in his father's restaurant making sushi, and after Toyota pulled out of F1 at the end of 2009, he had no budget to continue and was concerned that he would have to return to the restaurant despite his dislike of raw fish. But it turned out that Kobayashi had done enough to get picked up by BMW Sauber for the following year. In his younger years, though, he had thought about pursuing a career in comedy before deciding he wasn't talented enough. Before racing around F1 circuits in a Red Bull, Mark Webber raced around his hometown of Queen Bayon in New South Wales, delivering pizzas in his 1969 Toyota Corona. Apparently, he found it nerve-wracking attempting to find strange addresses and encountering some interesting situations. But F1's a piece of pizza, right? What jobs do you think the current drivers would have if they weren't in F1? Let us know in the comments below and make sure you're subscribed for more videos.